Alright guys, we're out here today, March 10th, showing you guys how we make our coon and fox sets. So for my coon set, I use a piece of wire about 4 feet long to anchor down the trap. I use a Duke 1.5 piece of PVC pipe for the dirt hole, homemade dirt sifter, a shovel, spade, whatever you want to call it, and a hammer for the PVC pipe. So what I first like to do is I take the wire and put it in the little trap hole right there. Take it in, leave it in there a couple times. You probably want about 6 inches sticking out so that you can have good holding power on the coon or possum or whatever. And then I just wrap this around, and it holds great. Never had anything close to breaking off. So I do that. And usually my perfect coon set is finding a backstop like this, or falling down tree stump or something. And then I like to put stuff like this behind the bait hole so that they can't come in from behind. And then I take the wire and wrap it around the tree stump. And then just the same technique as I did with the trap part of it. Just wrap it around a couple times. And that'll hold good. And then I go on to my hole for the trap and my dirt hole. You want to clear out anything of roots and leaves and sticks. And you want to dig a hole so that when you cover it with dirt, the trap will be completely covered. So you just dig a hole. Doesn't have to be anything nice and neat, just get the job done. You don't want rocks in there either. And if you're not sure how big to make it, just take your trap, put it in there, and make sure it'll fit. It probably needs to be a little bit bigger.
And you've caught how many coon off this? Like 8?
Yeah, around 8, and a bunch of possum too. So it works.
But this is our first year trapping, so.
Yep. And I'm always looking for new things to try, so if any of you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. Alright, now I don't think I want to set it yet, so I'm going to start with my dirt hole. And then I'm pretty cheap, so I take a piece of PVC pipe, stick it in there, take a shovel or a hammer, and just hammer the PVC in.
How far do you make your bait hole away?
I don't really have a set distance to make it away from, but usually a good 5-6 inches is what I like. And I just wiggle that around a little bit, make the dirt hole pretty big. Coon like good presentation, so you want to make a big eye appeal for them. And usually if I don't think that's good enough, I'll go in with a shovel.
Usually you don't want to reach in with your hands like that, but just because it's after the season, I did it anyway because we're just going to set this right off. But you never want to touch anything close to your set with your hands.
Exactly. You always want to use gloves. Usually these are great.
Those are what, 6-inch rubber gloves?
I believe so. You don't want anything with your scent on your hands. And now I'm screwing that up too. You don't want to sit back on your legs like that either. And always have good knee protection. You don't want your knees on the ground because that scent will just grip your set too. Now I got these gloves from Larry's Trapping Supplies. Just look up larrystrappingSupplies.com. I also got this great shellfish bait from him, and my wire and a bunch of other stuff. It's a great place. So then again, I just make my dirt hole. That'll be good for me. Alright. And then it'll be time to set my trap. So, set my trap. And make sure everything's clear so I don't get stuck in anything. I take one.
Unbox the light a little bit so you can see it better.
Take one hand, pull it down. Take your other knee, put it over the trap. Extend both ways. Push the two pans down here. And then you take this little thing.
I'm not sure what it's called, the lever.
Lever, I guess, yeah. Put it under. Right there's your set trap. Now what I like to do to bed it, I like to put the chain under it. Make sure it's nice and support. You don't want it wiggling around in there, or it could have repercussions like the coon busts out or something. Alright, and then what you do, you just take a bunch of dirt in. Just put it in your sifter. And what I do is I just usually put dirt around the trap, not on the pan though. And usually that's okay. You want to put the sifter dirt on the pan. Now that's just the way I do it. I'm not saying that's the only way you have to do it, and I know a lot of people that do it differently. But it's just what I do. And then just sift the dirt over until it's nice and covered.
You never want to have any like sticks or rocks in there, just because this happened to me quite a bit this year, because it's my first year trapping and I didn't know any better, but like when something would step on my trap, I would have like a stick in there and it would give them enough room to get out. And that happened to me quite a bit this year.
Alright, and then that looks pretty good. Now I do have my bait hole a little off-centered. You usually want the trap and the bait hole to be right in front of each other, but I screwed that up a little bit. So just something to remember. And then to funnel the coon or a possum or whatever happens to get in your trap in, I like to put sticks up so that they can come through the middle. So just take that. Usually that's about good. And I do that on both sides. Usually that serves the purpose there. And that's about what you need. And then to bait the set, you always want to take your gloves off, because if you get bait on your sets or your gloves, then when you go to make another set,
It'll just be all over.
exactly, and the coon or possum or fox or whatever digs up your trap because they think there's food under the ground. Again, what I use is shellfish flavored bait. That's good for raccoon, fox, coyote. Again, I got this at larrystrappingSupplies.com. And usually just take a piece, that's big. A piece about that big will suffice.
Probably about a teaspoon.
Yeah. And then you just stick that in the back. Just let it in the back there. And what I found is trial and error. I rip little sticks up and put them in front of my bait hole. I don't know if it makes them frustrated and they try to go around different ways and get caught, but I caught a lot more coon doing that in the later part of the season. Alright, so then that's how I make my coon sets.
Try and get a different angle of it here.
So then guys, trap's bedded right there, bait hole's right there, and the funnel is in here so that the coon has a better chance of coming through the middle.
Alrighty.